No countdown today, guys. Going straight into it. Are you ready? Good to see you. Going straight after it. And I'll tell you why. At the last minute, I had the countdown going, about to go live so you can see the countdown, and I forgot my notes in the house. This is my script. Because if I don't read my jokes, I'm not funny. Yes, I'm sitting here in my t-shirt. And if you saw the lower part, it was bright red gym shorts. And I've got tube socks on and slippers down there below because I just came in from the yard and was working with Cindy before I got all ready for this morning. And the rain's about to come. And so what we've been doing is we have been running against the rain, trying to be for it. And I was just running in the house and it's already started to spit on us. But Gabriel was on the mower. Cindy was on the picking up sticks detail. I was on the dump the sticks in the burn pile detail. And then I had to go in to get ready for this. Oh, life is good. I'm glad that I've got stuff to do and I am busy. How you doing? Everybody okay? Coronavirus and all that kind of stuff. I realize that it's looking, pretty bleak out there. A lot of stuff going on, but we got this, right? We got this because we got God and God's got us, and that's all that really matters, isn't that right? Don't forget, where's that? Right there. Right there. Don't forget, YouTube. Please go there and like that. Like this. Hi, Miss Dixie. Love you down there. Stay healthy. One of the things that you guys out there could do for me that would I cannot emphasize how important this is if you would share this, because if you like it, that's nice, and I appreciate that. But if you share it, then it gets into your feed, and it really helps me out. So if you would like it, not like it, yeah, like it, but share it. Okay, guys, here we are. Holy hope and humor for Saturday. Got the lawnmowers going out there. You can hear folks, and Saturday getting after it. Anyhow, here we go. Picked up a hitchhiker, the guy says. He seemed like a nice guy, but after a few miles, he asked if I wasn't afraid that he might be a serial killer. I looked over at him and I told him, I said, well, the odds of two serial killers being in the same car at once are extremely unlikely. That's a pretty good comeback, isn't it? Don't threaten me as being a serial killer, because I might be one too. There's my buddy Henry all the way out there in Arizona. I don't know what time it is, but it must be about mid-morning out there. But hi, Henry. Beautiful day out there. I'm glad to hear it. It was actually yesterday was absolutely gorgeous. Got out. Can you tell I got a little haircut? Got out and got a haircut and all kinds of stuff. Picked up limbs, etc., etc. But the storms kind of blew in over the night, and they're saying about 1 o'clock or so here we're supposed to start getting some stormy weather. So we were running this morning trying to get some stuff accomplished. But I'm glad it's beautiful out there in Arizona land, Henry, and glad that you tuned in to be with me. So I got Arizona and Louisiana. Who else is out there? Anybody else want to tell us? I can't tell if you're out there unless you talk to me. All right, here we go. Father teaching his son to drive. Here's the famous last words by a father as he teaches his son to drive. In fact, Cindy and Gabriel are down at the map property right now. As a matter of fact, I got my map shirt on. Can you guys see it? But they're down at the map property right now because my mom and dad, who live at the map property. Hi, Margie. How's the weather up there? Happy Saturday to you, too. But mom and dad, they're caretakers of the map property, and they live there. And they had trouble yesterday getting on YouTube to be able to watch me. And so I sent Cindy and Gabriel down there so that they could watch it and try to figure out the bugs and all of those kind of things. But Gabriel drove down there because he's got his permit now. And so these are words, famous last words that the father teaching his son to drive. He said, remember, son, stop on red, go on green, and slow down when I turn purple. I like that. Slow down when I turn purple. There's my buddy Kevin in Georgia. How's the weather in Georgia, Kevin? Margie, Indiana. How's Indiana weather? Anybody out there? Margie says it's cloudy with a chance of rain up in Indiana. That's kind of the way it is here, too, although I think the chance is pretty certain. You look outside, I think we're definitely going to get it. My buddy Kevin, are you driving truck today, Kevin? Out there in Georgia land, I hope that you're safe. He's one of those who has to get out among all this nastiness. And so, Kevin, be safe. I'm praying for you. Okay, guys, we're into the hope section in the middle here. Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 7. It says this, and this is really, really good. Hopes placed in mortals die with them, Now, if you stop there, that'd be kind of. My buddy Kevin says, sunny. Good. Glad to know that it's sunny down there in Georgia. Georgia's supposed to be sunny. Isn't that like the peach capital of the world or something like that? You always think of happy thoughts when you think of Georgia. At least I do. Anyhow, Proverbs 11 and verse 7. Hopes placed in mortals die with them. All the promise of their power comes to nothing. Now, again, I know you're thinking to yourself, oh, that's not very positive. But it is, because we're not those people, right? There's my buddy Larry. Larry Miles says it's 80 in Louisville. Good night. It went up like high 70s yesterday. Wow, Larry, I hope you're enjoying the day. That's the weatherman. He's not really a weatherman. He's a good guy. Hey, by the way, Larry has a lot of live stuff. You could watch Larry do a lot of history with regards to the premillennial movement and various things like that. Really good stuff Larry puts out there. But anyhow, now let's go back to my passage here. Proverbs 11 and 7, hopes placed in mortals die with them. Well, isn't that the truth? And then all the promise of their power comes to nothing. I thought about this with regards to this coronavirus. Now, I don't want anybody to take this wrong, because I am absolutely thrilled that we have got the doctors and the medical professionals that are on top of this, and all the scientists who are trying to figure out how to treat it, all of that stuff. So don't get me wrong with this. But that will never solve these issues. Next season, there will be another one of these things that comes down upon us. It may not be considered a pandemic, but it's there. We're going to have it. This coming summer, there's going to be stuff, tick bites, and all of those, what are the Rocky Spotted Mountain, whatever that's called, all of this, man will not solve it. Okay, and so we've got to be very, very careful that we do not place our trust and our hope in men, because what does it say here? Hopes placed in mortals or men die with them. All the promise of their power comes to nothing. Men can't solve these problems. Only God, only the Creator, can deal with that which He has created effectively. Therefore, two things I think have to be recognized. Number one, the only solution comes from God. And number two, as long as God continues to allow things not to be solved, you and I need to acknowledge that these are disciplinary moments for us. God is teaching us something. This is not something that we need to just put aside. Are my glasses crooked to you? It seems to me that my glasses are crooked. They're kind of bugging me. Anyhow, these are things that we ought not just shove aside. These are things that we need to look at and we need to recognize. I posted something just this morning. Is it not uncanny? I looked up that word to make sure I was using it correctly. Uncanny. Is it not uncanny of God to put His graphic punctuation mark on this message of home schools, homemakers, home churches? All of a sudden, we don't have a choice but to obey Him. And and folks who are just dismissing this, those just be happy preachers, I think are so very, very dangerous. We need to celebrate our God, but at the same time, while we're celebrating that, let's be mature enough to also celebrate the discipline that comes from knowing God. I think it's been the purpose since the Garden of Eden that you and I would hold God's hand, walk with Him, and during the course of life, He was going to teach us things and discipline us and show us how to grow up, etc., etc. And unfortunately, we rushed the situation. And so Adam and Eve, they couldn't keep their mitty grits off of that tree, and so now here we are, and we're in a fallen world, etc., and we continue to perpetuate it with our own sin, etc. But my point is that there's two things about this situation that must be celebrated. One, God is in control, and He can solve it whenever He wants to solve it. Number two, as long as He doesn't solve it, it means that you and I have something to learn, and learning's a good thing. Just don't, come August, when we've turned the corner on this thing, don't be so blinded by the message that God has given us that we don't make the changes so that we have homemakers, home schools, and home churches. Okay, Proverbs 11:7. Let me read it again. Hopes placed in mortals die with them. And so don't put your hope in me. Don't put your hope in the Pope. Hope in the Pope? Don't put your hope in mortals. Put your hope in God. All right. The teen told his father. He said, Dad, there's a problem with the car. Pretty sure there's water in the carburetor. The dad's confused look. He said, son, you don't even know what a carburetor is. I'll go look at it. Where's the car? In the pool. Gabriel, as you're bringing your mama home, don't park the truck in the pool. We don't have a pool. But hey, don't put it in the ditch. Or that lake across the road that our neighbors have. Because then you could come walking in, you could say, Dad, I'm pretty sure we got water in the carburetor. And I'd say, Gabriel, you don't even know what a carburetor is. Where's the truck? And you say it's in the pond. And you'd be right. There'd be water in the carburetor. Okay, guys, here we are in the middle of this thing. Let's stay with it, all right? Now, tomorrow, I will not be on at noon in order to do our Holy Hope and Humor because it's such a busy day. Now, two things I've got going tomorrow. Please, please, please be a part of this. 9 o'clock, we will have a full-fledged worship service here online. Many of you are going to be trapped at home. Our governor finally said, hey, no more than 10 gathering. And so a lot of you aren't going to be able to get out to your services, and so gather with me, if you will. I mean, we're going to do the whole thing. We'll come all the way through Bible study and sermon time. We'll do the communion service. We'll have time of looking at a song, the whole thing. 9 o'clock, please be with me. About 9 to 9:20 is the Bible class. Then the next 10 minutes are spent in prayer and awe time. And then the next 20 minutes, that would take us up to, 9:30 to 9:50 sermon time. And then the rest of that time is we deal with singing and communion and fellowship and stuff like that. And so we try to take all the 7 elements that are represented in Acts chapter 2 and in Ephesians chapter 5, put them all into one service. 9 o'clock tomorrow. Would you join me, please, for Lord's Day Live? We're going to talk about an interesting subject. Okay, here you go. Spoiler alert. Tomorrow morning's sermon we're going to talk about sheltering in place. God's Passover principle. I'm going to show you throughout biblical history how that God has actually used moments like this, sheltering in place, for his advantage. And so it'd actually probably be about a 3-part series. It's going to take us right up to the time when Jesus celebrated the Passover and turned it into the communion service, Easter. So if you will, be with me tomorrow morning for that. And then tomorrow evening at 5 o'clock, we're dealing with biblical authority. And so I got a busy, busy day tomorrow. So we will not do Holy Hope and Humor at noon. But please join me for those other 2 things tomorrow. This is Sonny Childs saying, smile. God's got this. I love you. Be there. Matthew 16:26.